Isn't it weird that when you ask a little kid what they want to be, it will usually be something like an astronaut, a pirate, or a princess? I mean, how many 6-year-olds have you encountered that said, I want to be like this woman? When you are small, you can imagine everything. You don't have an awareness of the limits that most of these ideal wishes hold, right? I mean, being a princess sounds so much more achievable when you're 6 than when you're 30. But then, as you grow up, you encounter the limits of our social system, and you will soon come to realize that there isn't a university course called Princess Studies 101. But why is that? A social system sets itself in place. Norms and expectations of your family start to weigh you down, and your options begin to be more limited. But it doesn't have to be that way. And while becoming a literal princess might be tricky, unless you plan to marry into royalty, if that's your plan, best of luck. Why do so many of the fun, exciting dreams of your childhood fade away? We start with limitless possibilities, yet somehow most of us end up on the same predictable track. Not because it fulfills us, but because it seems like the only option. For most of us, our lives seem mapped out. School, university, job, and then retirement. It's a loop so ingrained in our society that we rarely stop to ask, why? Who decided that this is the normal way to live? And more importantly, does it truly bring us personal happiness or fulfillment? But what if I told you that the path doesn't have to be as linear as it seems? Because stepping outside of our system doesn't have to mean abandoning it entirely. Stepping outside our system can happen on any scale. Maybe there are parents in the audience tonight who have been working the same job for 30 years. But there's always been this one thing that you wanted to do. Say become a skydiving instructor, and whilst leaving a stable 9-to-5 to get a license to professionally hurl yourself and others off a plane isn't necessarily everybody's cup of tea. Why do we let fear and routine hold us back from the things that truly excite us? Why do we prioritize stability over fulfillment, even when that fulfillment makes us miserable? In Finland, students don't start formal schooling until age 7. They have shorter school days, less homework, and longer breaks. Yet their education system consistently ranks amongst the best in the world. Why? Because they prioritize curiosity, well-being, and trust, not standardized testing or competition. Or take Bhutan. The small Himalayan nation doesn't measure success through GDP, but rather through gross national happiness. Policies are designed not just for economic growth, but for environmental conservation, cultural preservation, and spiritual well-being. Personally, I decided I had to step off the treadmill myself. And I decided to do something really rebellious. I took a year out at a British boarding school. All jokes aside, it did build my confidence. It was different from everything I'd experienced, challenging me in ways I never expected. I had to navigate an unfamiliar education system, make new friends, and adapt to a different culture. That year shaped me personally in ways that words can't fully capture. It was an experience louder than any theory, any expectation society had set for me. I would like to take you on a journey to my very first day of my boarding school. We had a whole school assembly called Routh, and once everyone was gathered, the school prefects would march from the back of the hall all the way to the front, and then the head boy would announce for everybody to stand up. To my amazement, the headmaster then appeared and walked down the center of the chairs in a long cloak. Now, the first time this happened, I thought I was living in the wrong scene of Harry Potter. Only to then find out that long cloaks and old chapels were considered normal to most other people at my school. And while this is just one of many ways of stepping outside of your comfort zone, it shows how experiencing something different, even within an established system, can teach you adaptability. It taught me that fulfillment isn't about throwing away our system entirely, but around shaping it, what makes you happy. And that's the key to experience. We are so often afraid to step outside of our comfort zone because the opportunity to do so doesn't always present itself or seems the most comfortable. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. The moments that change us, that make us grow, come from the times we embrace discomfort. When we dare to ask, is this truly making me happy? Do I find fulfillment in this structure? Or am I just following a path laid out for me by others? Too often, we don't question the social system we live in. We assume it's the only way. But what if it isn't? What if we dared to imagine a world where people had the freedom to truly design their own lives? A world where success wasn't measured by job titles or paychecks, but by fulfillment and purpose. A world where we valued happiness just as much as we value security. What would that look like? And more importantly, what's stopping us from creating it? Imagine a society where creativity is as valued as productivity, where education is about curiosity rather than memorization, where work is something you choose because you love, not because you have to. A world where we live based on passion rather than pressure. A world where our experiences define our lives rather than social expectations. You can talk about change, you can discuss ideas, but at the end of the day, it's about action. It's about stepping outside of this mold, taking that risk, experiencing life in a way that resonates with you. That experience, your personal journey, will always be louder and more powerful than anything society tries to prescribe. So I leave you with this. Don't just accept the system laid out for you. Challenge it, question it. Seek out experiences that shape you, not just ones that fit the mold. Because at the end of your life, it won't be the world you imagined that defines you. It will be the experiences you dared to live. Thank you.